Four Midwest Guys presents Mandalorian Review.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to Four Midwest Guys Presents The Mandalorian Review. I'm your host, B. Willie, and with me always, she's back again, John Z, and his lovely wife, Stephanie. What's going on, guys?
Hello.
Hi, everybody.
Looking all professional with your mic there, and even your little your cover on your mic, your spit cover. Nice job.
That's right.
That's right. There'll be no spitting on this day's show. No, sir.
Corona care.
No, everything is Corona care. We're 100% virtual
I mean,
again.
we're not 6 feet apart, so.
Well, you guys live together and you're married, so you share everything, so it doesn't matter. It's all good.
So I got to put a mask on her face now, or or is she gonna put one?
Well, come on, you know, it's till death do you part, right? So I mean,
Says who?
Well, she married Italian, so it's gonna be who murders each other first.
Was there a clause in
Yes.
in your vows that?
Yes,
okay.
there was.
Some
It was so
fine
quick,
print.
nobody heard it.
Ah, okay, I see. Yeah. Interesting. I would make a joke about my marriage, but I have my daughter working behind the scenes today, so we won't be doing that. So.
Ew.
And also joining us as always is Mr. Brian Eggenbauer.
Hey, what's up, guys? How's it going?
How's it going, man?
Hey.
Going good.
Good. All right, everybody ready? Let's dig into... Actually, let's do our non-spoiler review. I forgot. So, John, Steph, what'd you think of Chapter 14, The Tragedy?
I liked it. It was good. I don't think it excited me as much as last week, but it was good.
Okay, that's fair. Brian?
I'm going to go out on a limb and say that this is my favorite episode so far.
I thought about you this whole episode. I was like, hey, he's going to go nuts.
Dude, this was my my Rogue One.
Your Rogue One moment, yeah, with Vader and cutting everybody.
Yep.
Yeah. Gotcha. Yeah, I agree too. I love this episode. I think it's well worth. I'm with John a little bit. It's not as good as last week to me, but it's pretty much damn there. So
I felt like it was too short.
It was. It was only 29 minutes.
It was very
short. That's what I thought.
Yeah. They cut us short on this week, and I was a little disappointed there, but I'm always disappointed when we get. I mean, I can't believe we only got 2 episodes left. I mean, I'm like, come on, give me more. I want more. I feel like what's the meme they have on Facebook with whatchamacallit's like, hey man, you got any more than Mandalorian episodes, man?
Oh, the Dave Chappelle one.
Dave Chappelle, yes, yeah.
They got any more crack?
The crack, yeah. He's got, hey man, you got any more Mandalorian?
That's appropriate. That's appropriate.
All right, so let's break down the episode, shall we? So let's go into father and son, what I like to call the father and son moment at the opening of this and it really, this is again what we talked about last week with, when you call out your kid's name and they look up at you with recognition. It was a very kind of bonding moment between Mando and Yoda when he's really coming to the realization that he's pretty Grogu.
He's Grogu.
That Grogu is a very special boy. He's a special boy. That he is a special kid, and that and he's almost trying to convince himself and him that that they're going to have to part ways because of it, because he is trained to be a Jedi and wants to be trained or whatever you want to call it. That he's almost trying to talk himself into it for a moment, and he's trying to talk Grogu into it at the same time. What'd you guys think, John, Steph?
I thought it was so cool to hear Mando laugh.
Yeah.
That's true.
Oh my gosh, that was just like, that was everything, because as a kid, it's just you like to see your parents laugh, and you're like, oh God, did I make a mistake? And it's like, oh no, they're laughing. This is great. But it was so cool just to hear him relax and kind of just take it all in.
Absolutely.
Like a proud, kind of like a proud dad.
Well,
yeah,
it's
very proud.
It's
yeah.
like a dad, like, throwing catch or having any kind of training with the
Proud
kid.
dad.
It's like, I'm, helping my kid learn more about his gifts. So I thought that was a wonderfully nice moment. Like, it's a bit of a change of pace from the, we see some shenanigans on the bridge beforehand, and this time it's actually a little bit more of a character progression.
Yeah, it's definitely shown a deeper connection between the two, or one that at least acknowledging it now. Brian, what do you think?
Well, yeah, I mean, just going on the same lines. It's that developing of the character of Grogu, and the fact that, as it is with any kid, whether it's your own or not, you could say their name, and at first they don't really look, whatever, but all of a sudden they hit that moment where they realize that it's their name and that they're calling, and they'll look, and they'll be doing whatever they're doing, like, hey, instead of just responding to sounds, he's actually responding to his name, which is kind of cool.
Mm-hmm.
Cool, very cool. All right, yeah. Let's move on to the next scene, and that's welcome to Tython. There, so we actually get to Tython, which is interesting to me because I was really expecting, because of all of the stuff that I showed you guys, just a little bit I showed you last week and everything, I've been researching on it and everything else, that I was just kind of expecting more than what we got. I'm sure it was budget constraints and that they could only show us, the seeing stone, which was cool, don't get me wrong, I really got a kick out of it, but I was a little let down because this planet is so freaking awesome in the video game, and the lore behind it is pretty extensive. So just to see this kind of the seeing stone on the kind of like a semi-rocky surface was a little bit of a letdown, but I was still, by the time he touched the rock, obviously I was cool with it again. It was only for maybe just a few seconds that I was kind of like, oh man, I want more than this, just this, kind of thing. So
I mean, I wondered that myself, because this is like the first time that I was watching it that it didn't feel like it was like on that amazing stage that they've kept showing all the behind the scenes. Yeah, it felt like they were filming on a location somewhere. They
actually were filming on a location for this. This is actually the scene that leaked this episode. I don't know if you remember or not. Way back when they said the next Mando season was filming.
Yeah.
And everybody was trying to figure out why all the stormtroopers were running up the side of the hill.
Mm-hmm. Oh, okay.
This is that episode. So they actually are on location.
Huh.
Yeah.
Oh, that's cool.
Which is funny, because you think with Robert Rodriguez, like, shooting everything like Sin City and Spy Kids, basically shooting in front of a green screen, he would actually want to do it on a controlled environment like he's used to doing.
Maybe so. I don't know. I maybe they had something bigger in mind at one point, and then they had to cut back. I'm not sure. I'm not sure why they'd want to get away from the what do they call it, the volume 4 so much, which is just spectacular all into itself. But okay. Interesting though that on that, Brian, I didn't catch that at all. So maybe there's something going on there. I don't know. But speaking of the Seeing Stone scene, I really did enjoy that. I did like how Mando put him on there, and he's like, okay, do your thing, kid. And he's looking for like controls or something. I thought that was pretty funny. He was like looking for, like, is there an on switch to this thing? I don't understand. And I really enjoyed it. The minute, he's playing with the butterfly, and then he puts his hand down on the stone, and then bam, we turn around and he's engulfed in force energy. And he's doing the little, he's doing the ohm thing, which was funny, I thought too. What'd you guys think about this scene? Did you enjoy it?
Nope. I didn't care for it.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it was the fact that we didn't get to see who he was talking to.
Oh, so you were expecting like to at least hear it, or maybe see him make a connection through the Force?
Yep. I expected to see some kind of like connection,
Something.
like when when we heard Mando's saying, "Come on, kid, come on, kid," like I expected to see coming from the other direction,
like a muffled noise or
a
something.
very muffled noise, and him fading into seeing something else.
Okay.
You know, even if it was like a previous memory of the Jedi Temple or Master Yoda, some kind of Force ghost, because that's kind of what happens when Ezra did the same thing in Rebels.
Yeah.
When he did this kind of thing, we instantly saw like the room change to like stars, like he was floating in space and seeing random things. Like I really wanted to see that with this. It worked last week when we didn't hear what he was talking about with Ahsoka.
Yeah.
But I don't think it worked this week not hearing what he was talking about. You know what I mean?
Yes.
I
didn't like it either so much because he kind of just sat there, and I felt like everything was so rushed on this episode, including that this just seemed to drag out. You know what I mean?
But you also said it felt short too.
That's what this part right here seemed to just drag, and it's just like, really? Okay.
I enjoy.
Still sitting in there.
I mean,
I didn't hate it. I really didn't hate it.
Okay. I'm glad somebody else didn't hate it. I enjoyed it. I'm with you, B, on wanting to know who it was, but I think they're trying to save that for a big reveal, maybe in maybe the next episode, if not the last episode. But
yeah, I mean, like I didn't hate it.
Right.
I thought it was kind of cool that he was engulfed in it. I just wish we actually saw something or heard something to go along with that. That's all I'm saying.
Okay.
No, I didn't like it either.
Well, but you can't answer every question immediately as soon as you ask it. I mean, the Force is supposed to be mysterious, and in a mystery, you have to want to know more about the mystery. It's not like the Rick and Morty short adventure or short mysteries on the intergalactic.
Right, but you can't also just sit there and do nothing and expect the audience to just make assumptions.
That's what I'm saying.
Well, the thing that I got from it was,
because I mean that's something you've always said to me when I had that same argument with you about something not happening, is that you can't give everybody everything, but then again, the audience shouldn't have to find their own way through a movie. The director should push them in that direction.
But in the last episode, what you said was like the person that he's going to reach out to, whoever the Force connects him with, will show up. And as we get to it later, the first person that showed up that kind of responded might go in again, might factor into her saying she sensed fear in him.
But he didn't really respond so much as he put a tracker on their.
Yeah, none of those guys were force
ship.
responding. None of those guys were force responding. Those were tracker.
Force works in mysterious ways.
No bullshit.
I really think though that the reveal is a major character at this point. I think we can rule out. Be. I think you can rule out the unknown Jedi and all that stuff.
The cliffhanger.
Yeah, or the big reveal.
But it won't be something that if you cut the scene out, it wouldn't matter.
Yeah, there's got to be some reason for it. I think that might be.
You think there'll be a flashback?
I think there could be a flashback. I think they may, or he just shows up and it's going to go, aha, it makes perfect sense. And it's actually later in the notes, but we'll go ahead and bring it up now. I'm leaning heavily to Mace Windu now, because Mace has such a history with Django
and Boba.
Hold on a second. I've got my kid working the special effects. Just hang out.
So does
just leave it where it's at.
Obi-Wan.
But Obi-Wan does too. But Mace and Boba Fett have a history because Mace took off Jango Fett's head all the way back in episode 2. So,
yeah, I know. I remember that.
Yeah. So I'm thinking because of that history, it leads to a bigger drama, to more drama, if you will.
I got you.
What it'll add to the story, and it'll that's what I'm thinking anyway. Because even in the Clone Wars, Boba Fett as a kid dresses up like a youngling Clone Wars recruit and tries to kill Mace. He actually tries to assassinate him with a bunch of other bounty hunters. So there's definitely some friction there and some tension, unresolved nonetheless. So if they're going to bring him back, I'm thinking that's the one they're going to bring back. Now I'm leaning pretty heavily. I'll go out on a limb and say 85%.
That's a lot.
That's a lot for me.
Well, Disney does have Sam Jackson on payroll.
On retainer, yeah. So, and it's
all this motherfucking silence and this motherfucking force.
Careful.
This is shit about midichlorians.
Careful, B. I got my kid on.
I know. I could have went worse.
Yeah, I know you could have. But anyway, yeah. So yeah, I really think it might be Mace. I'll just go out on a limb. Like I said, 85%. I'm pretty sure, unless it's
And if it's
Skywalker.
not-
It's the only other one I think that they would hide like that.
Who?
Luke was the only other one I think that could be
Why?
that they're hiding, or it's a Force ghost. But I mean, so I'm just saying as far as like why they would not show us who he's talking to or who he's made
I think
contact
it's
with.
Obi-Wan.
Force ghost Obi-Wan, huh? Okay.
Well, I'm saying him because he's the other one that they're doing a show about, like a spin-off series.
We just heard they're going to Boston about it.
So
Right.
that's where I'm going with that.
Yeah, gotcha. Okay, so let's move on to meeting with Boba Fett here, which was badass. I mean, the minute I saw Slave One come in, I'm like, oh shit, this is about to get real. So yeah.
Funny you should say that, but I literally looked at John when that happened. I'm like, okay, either Willenbrink, peed his pants, or Aikenbauer did.
No, wrong liquid.
Yeah.
I was just happy to see it. I was like, oh man, because I was like, they've got to give us more than just that. If they're especially they're gonna do a spin-off series, they've got to give us something else to go off of, other than just him making a cameo. And yeah, man,
Like, hey, what's up?
boy, did we get a badass Boba Fett even without his armor. I thought he was a
Yeah.
badass.
His club is awesome.
Dude, that
And
club.
he even had lines.
Yeah.
Yeah, like
Minus the mask.
yeah. I mean, and it really really brought things full circle, especially with episode 2, and Jango Fett and stuff, because obviously he played Jango Fett, so it just it really intertwined well, I thought. And we got a lot. We find out that Fennec Shand is now with him, which we thought that was Boba Fett that came up to her. And
Yeah.
my only thing about Fennec Shand, I don't know about you guys, is what you think about the bionic implant. I thought that was really strange. Like, she got shot in the stomach. I get
sure.
that, but it was all robotic. It wasn't just like a little piece of cyborg. It was like her entire
it's
midsection
Star
had been
It's
replaced.
Star
Really?
Wars. Yeah.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah,
but I was
I
just
thought
like,
it was
There's a
fine.
medic.
Luke got a mechanical hand.
Yeah,
We're good.
Yeah, there's a medical diagnosis for lost the will to live in the Star Wars universe.
Well,
So
I get it. I know it's science. It's fantasy. I get that. I was just like, man, though. I mean, yeah. I mean, Luke got a new hand because he lost his hand. He got cut off. Though. She just got shot in the stomach,
Major.
and all of a sudden you look in and it's robotic Fennec Shand, and I'm like,
Well, it's only the stomach part.
I guess.
And it also didn't show all the way across her stomach, so it could just be like like half or 3/4 of it.
Something. I just thought it was strange. I was like, whoa, okay, because
I would like to know where Boba Fett was able to just like scavenge all these internal organs parts across Tatooine.
I'm sure he had him on his ship or
or
something.
he knew somebody. I'm hoping, but I mean, I don't know if he can survive a Sarlacc pit. I guess maybe he knows a few tricks, but
Maybe Watu had something in his barter.
Nubia, we have plenty of
You need a liver, huh?
I got that. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, a spleen, liver, stomach, no problem. I hope you don't have Republic credits.
Beskar will do just fine.
I turned my Watto turned weird there at the end. Anyway, what do you think, Brian, of Fennec Shand and her robotic stomach, I guess, so to speak?
Yeah, I mean, I was okay with it. It's like Stephanie mentioned, especially Luke has a whole freaking arm that's mechanical that looks regular, normal throughout all the rest of the scenes. So I'm okay with the fact that she's
Fine.
partially robotic.
Gotcha. Okay, well, that makes sense.
Vader's basically the $6 Beskar $1 million man.
Robot. We have the technology. We can rebuild her.
Fine.
But the other thing I picked up on, they both seem to be living by a more honor-bound lives now. Like, maybe they're grateful for the second chance. Like, I think even Boba Fett said, fate sometimes steps in and helps the wretched, referring to himself as well as Fennec. I don't know. Did you guys pick up on any of that, or maybe it was I in left field on that one? But I kind of felt like they were suddenly more honor bound than they've been, or at least Boba is anyway.
I definitely got that, yeah. And the other thing I got too is, even when Mando is confronting him about not being like authentic Mandalorian. I mean, think of how many different Mandalorians Mando has seen this season that have revealed their faces to him immediately. Like, there's a lot of people that he's meeting that are just abandoning the old ways. So I think that's kind of an interesting little twist on it too. Is he's seeing so many people that used to be bound by this dogmatic code that he used to live by, but now he's seeing that they're thriving in this world, or at least they're maintaining more of a truer sense of self by kind of abandoning it.
I think he's learning what the world is like outside of his cult, I guess. I don't know what else to call it, but yeah, I think he's discovering that, you know, that there was a more modern movement that took place, and that, you know, that he's actually kind of like the Amish guy. He's the Amish Mandalorian, still living, you know, 200 years in the past. But, you know, he stepped out into this brave new world. No, I'm serious. When you think about it, it's kind of the same kind of thing, you know. They're except they're, instead of being where the Amish are peaceful and loving people, they're warriors and honor bound. But
I now want to see a Mandalorian helmet that has like the brimmed hat.
See Mando churning some butter.
Raise a barn.
And soon I'll raise another.
So wait. You've just now said Mando is kind of like the Amish. Is that what I heard you say?
Only from a very, very, very specific and certain point of view. Yes, but that's where it stops.
The man flies a spaceship.
Yes, but he's still living in the old way.
He's talking about the way he reacts to society.
Right.
Okay.
That's
yes,
the connection.
Because there's two different ones. We've established that in season 1, I think, right?
No, really, they established it this season. So
okay.
Yeah. So when Bo-Katan showed up is when we really made the distinction, and we find out that he's part of the Watch, which is like a. It's like a break off. Then they want to establish the old ways.
Like like the old ways instead of the new ways. Yeah.
Right.
I want to see a giant ice wall now.
Somebody tap up a 95 thesis and call it a day.
So Brian, did you ever when all this was happening, did you ever? I mean, we still don't know, but did this bring back up the question of who saves Fett? I mean, he saves Fennec, we get that, but we still don't know what or how Boba got saved.
Yeah, Fett got swallowed up, didn't he?
Yeah, he got eaten by the Sarlacc pit. I think that he just managed to get out. That's the reason why it's all like. I'm sure maybe the Sarlacc died, like getting eaten by one of the bigger monsters.
Okay, so like the Crate Dragon came along or something,
right? And he just happened to get out, and then the whatchamacallits came by and stole his armor.
The Jawas, okay.
Jawas because it made a Beskar, so he's been trying to get it back for this entire time.
Gotcha.
That's what I think. That's what I think. I think he's looking at it as more of it, almost like kind of like religious, like I've been given a second chance at life kind of thing. And that's the reason why you're getting the that's the reason why you're getting this more sense of honor. I owe it that, and then the fate sometimes steps in to help the wretched. Maybe after while he was being devoured or whatever, he was thinking back at all his stuff that he could have done differently. Yeah,
reflecting on his life, and maybe dealing with the Empire wasn't such a good idea.
If you look at his face, it looks like he's been kind of not digested so much, just you could see the scars on his face.
Yeah.
I mean, this is one question I hope we get answered.
I think
how did you get out?
If we don't get it here, then I would say that the rumors of him getting a standalone series are probably pretty solid at this point. So I think we would get it there. So at least a little bit more background, hopefully. But we might get it.
He's gonna ride this horse till it dies, isn't it?
Don't they always?
Well, I mean, they could be as soon as next episode too, because they're now traveling together, in Slave One, which is freaking awesome, by the way. But we're getting ahead of ourselves. But
you're getting ahead of ourselves.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, from all the spin-offs that they're going to have from Star Wars.
Well, they want to do it in movies now. They get to do it in TV.
Yeah. And I don't know if you guys caught it. Did you catch it? Like, if you look at the actual picture here, it says, "I'm a simple man making my way through the galaxy." Did you guys catch that?
Yeah.
Throwback to
I saw
Django.
that, yeah.
Yeah, back in episode 2, I was like, "Oh, that's sweet." It's just like, man, that's just too cool.
I was gonna ask if it was a throwback to the holiday special.
No, episode 2 when he's being interviewed by Obi-Wan Django.
yeah.
He goes, "I'm just a simple man trying to make my way through the galaxy." I was like, nice. So it was a nice little throwback. All right, so let's move on to the story of Fett's armor. We're going to jump ahead just a little bit because it's just a good place to talk about it, I thought. So we find out that Django was given, this armor was given to him by the Mandos, which later turns out he was a foundling, and he's just like Jin. God, I can't talk today. Like the Mando is.
I thought he said the
Pandar.
father was a foundling.
Yes, exactly. So
Yes.
So, but the Mando as well. So there's the connection between the Mandalorian and Jango Fett. They're the same. They're one and the same, essentially. Now, whether he was part of the Watch or not, I don't know. And we also find out that Jango fought in the Mandalorian Civil Wars, which happened before Episode 1 and all that stuff. And the Skywalker saga takes place. So, it makes sense now that, now there we can officially say, it's always been a big debate amongst the Star Wars geeks out there is he a Mandalorian or not? Is Jango and Boba, are they Mandalorians or not? Yes, no, maybe, don't know. So now we're getting a little bit of retconning maybe going on here, but at least now definitively we can say that he is a Mandalorian by extension, at least through as being a foundling anyway. And he did earn his stripes through a war, so which I think is interesting. What did you think about that, Brian?
Yeah, I mean, I've always thought that he was. People have said he's not because he's a bounty hunter or whatnot.
Yeah.
But, even going back to my days, I always thought he was, as soon as they came out and said there was a Mandalorian race that had all this stuff, I was like, well, he's obviously a Mandalorian.
Well, yeah, he has to be, right? And
At the time, you don't even think of he stole the Mandalorian armor. You know what I mean? You don't think that way as a kid. That somebody stole whatever they had. So I'm like, obviously he's a Mandalorian. But then people come up with all these theories of, he stole it and all this and that. And
well, it all started. George started the controversy. He goes, "Oh yeah, he's not a Mandalorian."
Yeah, but Mando.
He was making it up as he was going along.
Mando was a bounty hunter too in season 1.
Yeah, exactly. So, but
we're good.
But there was this big, like, George started this whole controversy when he said, "Oh yeah, they're not Mandalorians. They're
that was back. Yeah, it was back before. Yeah, before Mandalorian. Back before Mandalorian even started.
Yeah, it was even before. It was like when he was doing the prequels and he was doing Boba Fett's backstory in episode 2, and it just set like the world on fire as far as geekdom's concerned. But at least we're putting it back to bed, and hopefully it'll stay there instead of starting
Everybody's
fights.
Mandalorian. We're happy.
Right?
There's a little Mandalorian in all of us.
All right.
That sounded gross.
If you want to take it that way, God.
So in the middle of their big meeting, the Empire shows up and sends down some stormtroopers, and shit gets real. And I mean gets real. I don't know, you guys, and I'll switch picture here. This picture alone is just freaking badass. This is where he takes that. He is a badass with that bantha stick, man, that he got from the Sand People, man. He is just wailing
Is that what that
people. Is? Yeah. It's the same thing you saw him cleaning the teeth of the bantha with. That's what he was using, man. And
All right.
He's knocking the shit out of the side of breaking stormtroopers' heads, bashing them in. He's running people through with it.
The splintering of the helmets was a nice touch.
I'm telling you, Brian, I'm going to let you roll with this because I know this was a big, I'm sure you were going nuts. I'll let you go with it. What did you think?
I mean, we finally got to see what kind of a badass that we all thought Boba Fett was from, playing with him as an action figure.
Exactly.
This right here was the reason why, he was my favorite Star Wars character. This is the reason why, in my mind, this is the stuff that he could do. He was just a badass guy. One of those characters that could just run through the gauntlet of people, with all of his weapons and everything else. And then you have the people that came along and said, "Oh no, he didn't have any lines, and this was, he was one of the worst characters ever, and he was just clumsy and everything else." And like, no. No, clearly he was a badass. This is that retribution. Like, yes, it is. Like I said when I told you like this was my Rogue One, like with the very end of Rogue One where you see Vader come through and just start trashing everybody because he's in his prime. You know what I mean?
Right.
And he's in his rage and he's just pulling people left and right. That's exactly what this was for all the Boba Fett fans.
Gotcha. John, Steph, what do you guys think? I mean, this was him without his armor. I mean, they're just showing him.
Loved it. I had so much fun watching this.
Yeah.
This is probably one of the only parts I very much loved was watching him as a badass without the armor, and then to see him get the armor and even extend that badassery was just phenomenal.
Badassery, I like it. That's official
Right?
word. Put that in the dictionary. Badass.
Yeah, I really like where he had the because you know how Mando has the coming out of his those fiery birds or whatever coming out of his
Yeah.
Whistling birds.
Yeah.
Yes.
whistling
And
birds,
had him
and then he had him
out
in his
of
knee pads.
Yes.
Yes, I was like, oh my god, yes.
That was
And
beautiful.
then he actually used his rocket off of his rocket pack to shoot it down.
Yes!
I was like, yes.
Yep.
The only thing that would have made that better.
He got to use the eyepiece.
Yeah, the only thing that would have made that better is if he would have reached around behind him and clicked the little button down, like on his actual like figurehead,
Yeah.
in order to launch the rocket.
See, I liked Boba Fett too, but and when you said people were like, well, he had no lines and he was clumsy. Well, fuck, he literally was the badass in those movies because he didn't need the lines.
This is why we filtered you around, daughter.
I don't care. Anyway, to me, he didn't need the lines because he was so scary and so like, no offense, Wilbrink, but he was like way better than Vader.
Oh, I don't know about that. That's going a little far, but all right, I'll let you have it.
No, because it is. He didn't need lines because he was amazing, and everybody was scared of him.
He had lines in Empire.
I mean, I love the fact that
Real briefly.
I mean, it was like a total homage to the character, right? I mean, whoever.
Oh my God!
Somebody
yes.
was a complete Boba Fett fan because he even comes out and he's walking. He's doing a slight Vince McMahon walk. He's doing like I'm gonna kick ass.
And one thing I want to point out with this little still you have here, it was just like the perfect amount of cheese for me. Like
when he turns back, he does the
clearly a
breaking the
fan
wall.
service shot. Yeah,
Yeah.
where you have the explosion. It's the cliche of the explosions going off behind the badass, but it was it was like when he turned his head, thing blew up behind him. I was like, that's just perfect. How do you subtly?
I really like when he said he's like nice shot. And he's like, I was aiming for the other one.
The other one, I know.
That was a nice moment.
And like, yeah, that was good. But the reason they had it behind Boba Fett is because usually they're having it behind Mando. In most of the episodes and things like that, to have the big explosion is usually happening behind Mando because he's blown something up. But to have it behind Boba Fett is like, yep.
But this was clearly
Hello,
like
Star Wars fans.
yeah, but this was
we
clearly
applaud you.
Yeah, this is clearly the fan service shot.
Yeah. He's the OG. He's the original Mandalorian, the OM, if you will. So did
The only thing
anybody
that would have
else?
made it better was the Who scream.
Did anybody catch up on? Did anybody catch that? Was I the only
I
nerd
wasn't
that
really
caught?
a Leia fan. I wasn't a Vader fan. Hell, I probably wasn't even a Luke fan. I was more like, Han Solo.
I was a Han guy.
Or Boba Fett. Yeah.
I was a Luke fan and a Vader fan, obviously, but you got to give props to the man, and they definitely gave props to the man. Was I the only nerd though that noticed that his rocket changed? Like it went back to the original rocket when he wore the armor. I didn't. It was
I
like
noticed.
it was like, where did that come from? Because it
was shiny silver when Mando wears it.
Yeah, well, not the backpack, but the rocket itself. The shape charge is the exact one from the original movies and obviously the figure. And I was like, was he just carrying that around, waiting? Because
I wonder that about all their missiles on the back of those jetpacks.
It's like, I got my armor back. I just happen to have this specifically, extra.
Well, my guess is he had extra of them in the Slave One.
The Slave One, and he grabbed it. Okay, I'll buy that. I'll go with that. For the sake of
because
argument.
you saw how extensive in Raven Crest that the Mando's armory is.
Yeah. Also, we got to give credit real quick to Fennec Shan. I thought she was a badass with her sniper rifle. The way she's jumping off, she was shooting
holding
people,
her own.
and she was holding her own, and she improvised too. I mean, the way she kicked the
Yeah.
rock down and everything, that was just crazy.
My favorite moment of hers was when she's being chased towards the cliff. She jumps and then just does that 180 to get 2 more shots off before she falls.
Yeah, I thought that was cool. And then she jumps right back up, and she's like, I'm like,
And
damn.
it just keeps going.
So
That's okay. Stormtroopers they can't aim, so we're okay.
When it comes to plot service characters.
Yeah.
it might be. So we go from a dramatic. They give us this dramatic high, and of course, whenever we get a dramatic high, we've got to have that one moment of oh shit moment. And for me, it was the destruction of the crest, which was for me that was I was like, oh shit, there goes the crest. That sucks.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was actually kind of tough to watch because it's like everything. It's like the Millennium Falcon in this series. It's almost become its own character, kind of in a way.
Well,
I had to explain to John because he was like, "Well, where was the tragedy?" I'm like,
I'll get to that later.
"Dude, the ship blew up. It was shot." I was like, "It's not like it was shot at. It was blown the fuck up."
Well, and they even gave us that moment too. It's like everything stopped, and they're like everybody just to give us to take a breath in and go, fuck.
Well, and essentially, it's since Mandalorian's basically a Western, that's like their wagon being destroyed. Yeah,
They
like
shot the horse.
Shot the horse.
Yeah, well,
They blew the horse the fuck up. Sorry, PETA.
I think you're losing like all of our abilities we could use to use profanity.
Sorry.
It's all good. Hey, what'd you think of it, Brian, when you saw I was not expecting it, that's for sure. What'd you think?
Yeah, I wasn't expecting it either because when you think about it, I thought that that's how they found them, right? Because they got tracked there, but I didn't anticipate them blowing it up.
Nope.
Only because what if the child was in there?
Yeah, exactly, right. They
like there was unless there was communication from the stormtroopers on the transporters that said
Go ahead.
That said that hey, the child's at the top of the hill.
Yeah.
Unless there was something like that.
Or unless Gideon saw the giant blue beam coming out from the hill too.
Yeah, that's kind of what
The
I was
sky
thinking. But you got a good point, Brian. I mean, they didn't really address it. You're kind of left to figure that out on your own. But yeah.
Yeah, but as soon as it happened, we knew exactly where it came from.
Oh yeah, absolutely knew where it came from.
Yep.
But I was like, son of a bitch, damn. Like, oh well.
That was good use of the clouds, though.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then
ion cannon in reverse.
And then, speaking of the clouds, we got we finally see the release of the Dark Troopers, which wasn't very much. I was a little disappointed here because I wanted to see a lot more out of these guys.
It was the Knights of Ren version from the it was the Knights of Ren for Mando. That's what this was because it was like there was all that build up.
Yeah.
There was all that build up. We're like, ooh, and Brian, you did the research on it. And you're like, well, this could be one of the things. I didn't realize how cool these guys are going to be.
Yeah.
And then they came in and it was like, hey, I'm Iron Man from Iron Man 2.
Iron Man. That's exactly what I thought. It was the drones.
Yes, that's exactly what it was. I'm like, this is stupid.
Yeah.
I literally had Mickey Rourke's head going off, going, "Drones are better." I almost
Yes.
want to tell him, "The hell they are, Rourke."
I gotta go. Yep. I gotta go back and be a nerd for a second. Yeah, to me it looked like they took Phase 1 and Phase 2 that I did all that research on 2 weeks ago, and merged those together, and then they threw in a little bit of there was like a Sentry droid that was in Rebels. Brian, remember when they're trying to rob that ship?
Yeah.
In the sandstorm, whatever.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, that kind of reminded me like they mashed all three of those together. So it's definitely not a suit you could wear, but it did definitely have Iron. Even the way they
definitely had Iron Man. Now, what I thought should have happened, to go along with your Dark Trooper thing and the whole, because remember we said that those troopers were being infused with the Force a little bit, or midichlorians or whatever.
The Shadow Trooper, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
I thought that what should have happened there is they came down, the Baby Yoda was still
In the Force.
still in the Force, and they were able to reach in and grab him.
Using the dark side of the Force or something.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Now I thought that would have been way
That
better
would've been
use.
even
And then
better, because
and then we've been
get through.
Yeah.
exactly, and we've been like, ooh, why were they able to get through? There, then it would have been like, oh, okay,
Right.
There's something special going on, yeah.
right,
Yeah.
exactly.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
As opposed to, I'm gonna pick up this tiny sleeping green bean and
Yeah.
This
Take
passed
off.
out kid.
yeah,
But yeah, even
Hey,
the
we're
even the
here.
shots though, you could tell it was John Favreau because it was like straight out of Iron Man. I mean, just the
Yep.
way they came down,
Yeah.
the way they took back off. I'm like, I've seen this before.
Hello, Favreau.
Right. So let's move on to In the Ashes of the Crest, and in there
That was depressing.
that was kind of depressing too, and kind of a little bit of a downer. But there's not much left. But he does find the spear. The spear Beskar
Yeah.
survives the onslaught, and will continue
Well,
on.
it's Beskar.
Yeah, it was all Beskar. So,
now when he first
Well,
pulled
it's
it up,
not the only thing that survived.
no, he finds the ball
well-
too. Yeah,
yeah, when he first pulled that Beskar spear up, it almost like for a second, it almost felt like Boba Fett recognized it.
Right. I thought so too.
But then they didn't mention that, and he just said, "Oh, it's made of Beskar," and that's how they
Yeah.
played it off. But when he first saw it, he saw him pull it up. I thought he was going to say, "Oh, it's the spear of so and so." You know what I mean?
oh,
I
like
thought
it had a story.
Right,
yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
that's
didn't
what
think
I
about that
originally
way.
thought.
More
yeah,
of a mythology.
I saw that too. I saw him kind of like, oh,
Yeah,
but nothing. I'm like, okay, we're not going to talk about it. Cool.
yeah. But he was going to see. All he says was, "Ah, it's Beskar." It's like, okay.
Interesting. I didn't pick up on that. It would have been cool. They'd come up with like a backstory like they did for the Darksaber and everything. It'd been pretty sweet.
Yep.
So,
We've been getting into Tolkien territory there.
well, so let's talk about Boba and Fennec. Speaking of honor, and they make the deal is that
Oh Jesus.
yeah, I thought this was interesting. I was like, so even though the kid got taken, they're still honoring the deal for the armor, and they're going to help him because of it. Which I was like,
Right.
wow,
Yeah.
they don't need to do that at all, in my opinion. And
Yeah, I kind
and-
of get that.
I
You know.
legitimately, I actually, I was here at the house by myself, and I actually yelled out, "Fuck yeah!"
Yeah.
Because all these characters we get it for one episode and then nothing, and I was like, "Oh, please don't let this be the only episode of Boba Fett we get." And then he's like, "So we're gonna go with you until we get the kid back," and I'm like, "Fuck yeah!" Because I'm like, at least we get at least 2 episodes, maybe 3.
Your inner kid Boba Fett just went, yes.
Oh yeah, I was so excited. I texted Willenberg. I was like, "Did you watch it?" He's like, "I'm putting the notes together." I said, "When that happened, dude, I literally yelled, fuck yeah!" And I was like, "Oh, it was so amazing."
Mm.
But it does bring up a question, though. Even though they're very honor bound and they're very cool about the whole situation, my question is, would Fett still go along with it if he knew Grogu, was training to become a Jedi? Or was
He
Force
has
sensitive?
to know he is. I mean, he has to know he is. He has to know what's going on up there. He has to know what he's doing. I
Does
mean,
he? I don't know. I mean, he's had run-ins
I'm
with the
sure-
Jedi,
I'm sure.
but
I
He
don't
does.
think he would enter a situation he didn't know what he was entering into.
I'm sure he does.
I don't know. I want to give him that much credit, but I don't know if I can. Brian, what do you think?
Because again,
Oh yeah, go ahead, John. I'm sorry. I
I
thought
was
you
gonna say, because again, you said like he's kind of turning over a new leaf,
yeah.
or I mean, since he's got like a new lease on life, he could still have that.
Okay.
Well,
That's-
I'm also kind of worried that in the back, and no offense to your hero, Aikmauer, but what's the girl's name again?
Fennec Shan.
Fennec. She did bring up the thing that said the price. Was it the price on?
Oh, the price on Grogu is now
is
10
bigger.
suits of armor.
So I'm wondering. I'm kind of like worried that okay, they're going to help him get the kid back, but are they going to take the kid?
But the person that put the bounty there has the kid.
Yeah, so they can't do that. They can't take it from them and then give it back to them.
Okay.
Let me steal back from you and give it right back. Pay me.
But
Hey,
like
it's been done.
like Brian, I thought it was badass when we get in as they're transitioning to Navarro. I just thought it was awesome to see Slave One flying like that again. I was like, oh, I did geek out there a little bit with you, Brian, on that part. I was like, oh yeah, there it is. There's Slave One.
I was excited. I was like, just watching this whole like, once Boba Fett showed up in the show, it's just the whole demeanor of the show changed for me, and it was like yes, and then like you went back and you said, you guys you possibly worried about, if he's worried about it to be a Jedi or not.
Yeah.
On one hand, I don't think he realized it was for a Jedi because he was just looking for his armor.
Okay.
Yeah.
Because he didn't say anything about the kid, or Fennec was the one who brought up the kid. He brought up his armor.
Okay.
But the second part, like, obviously they've talked, Fennec and him,
right.
But I do think, like John said, he's turning over a new leaf.
Mm-hmm.
So it may not bother him right now, but if your 85% comes through in its Mace window and he sees him walk up and he has that flashback,
might be something different.
And he has that flashback,
Yeah.
that might be an issue where
triggers.
Yeah, it triggers something where he not necessarily goes with the
Empire.
with the Empire,
Yeah.
but it may cause for friction where they split and he goes off to do his own TV show or whatever.
Yeah.
So I do have to ask though, would this be the first case that we've actually seen a Force ghost interact with someone who's not, imbued with the Force?
Oh yeah, I'm actually think Mace is still alive. So
Yeah,
I don't think he's a Force ghost.
I do too.
So
I think he's still alive.
yeah,
He's probably a really old man, but yeah.
yeah, he's really
Survived that fall off of.
Well, I mean, if Anakin can jump from one speeder, to another and survive, in the middle of Coruscant, I can't see why.
Hollywood is a wonderful thing.
No one ever dies in a sci-fi fiction universe.
Or soap operas.
All
Which
right. So let's talk about. So he goes back to Navarro on Slave One, and he goes and he recruits Cara Dune, who is, and I was right about the badge. It was indeed a rebel badge. So she is now a Republic Marshal. It turns out, of all things.
Yay!
So she's gone legit, kind of, sort of.
Hey.
But he's there for her help because he wants to spring none other than this guy, Mayfield, if you guys remember. From episode 5 of season 1.
Right.
I saw that and I was like, yay!
Bill Burr's coming back, apparently, to help track down Gideon, I guess. I guess he knows how to find him. I'm going to have to go back and rewatch episode 5. I know he was in the Empire, but maybe he has some connection or something they brought up that I missed. As to why Mando needs him so badly.
Well, because he's a sharpshooter and he was able to maneuver in and out of the Empire's territories without being caught.
Ah, there we go.
So he kind of has that interknowledge of their interworkings, and if the Empire is really back,
yeah,
then he's going to know how to get in and out of their systems and stuff.
Let's get around them.
Now, what I thought would have been cool, like I really wanted to see him not only bringing back Bill Burr, but bring back that whole crew minus that brother.
Minus back to Quinn.
No Quinn?
Yeah.
No Quinn?
Yeah.
Quinn?
No Quinn.
We're not going back to Quinn?
Quinn is not coming back.
No,
But
to Quinn.
No back.
But I would have liked to see all the ones that he trapped on that prison ship.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd like to see them all come back to help with this like springing of the Grogu from the.
I would like to see.
Yeah.
I don't mind him using Mayfield. I want to see everybody else just as a cameo as he's walking by all the prison cells and they're all just glaring at him from from behind the cell. Yeah, so it's going to be interesting. I think the next episode is definitely a prison break episode. What do you guys think? I think that's going to be the majority of the episode, even, or at least half of it. I don't know.
So whenever this guy's on screen is when we start doing a prison break.
All right, Brian, you think the next one's going to be a prison break episode?
Oh, I mean, yeah, more than likely it'll at least half of Prison Break.
Yeah.
Yeah, I would say at least half the episode's gonna be a Prison Break episode.
Yeah.
Probably the rest of it would be them trying to find
Gideon.
Gideon.
Yeah.
I think well that's where the next episode will leave off. Will be them finding or getting to where Gideon is.
Keep in mind, we've only got 2 episodes left.
Yep.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah.
We should call the next episode the Count of Back to Quinn.
Yeah.
He's
Count.
dead.
Now he's a count to back to Queen.
No.
1, 2, 3 wonderful Mandalorians.
My Alexandria dumbass. It's about a prison break.
Count Chocula.
All right, so speaking of Gideon, so they give us this nice little ending scene, and I love this scene. You see Grogu just wiping the floor with some stormtroopers using the Force.
Yes, and I was sitting there going, yeah, do it.
You had your Abby moment. Get him.
Come on.
And
Brian, were you able to go back and listen? Did they actually have the music in there?
there is, the 3 bars are played of his music, but I don't think it was intentional. I could be wrong.
Okay.
But yeah, I can see where people were making that connection, though. Yeah, it's there. It's just I don't know if the composer really was going for that or not.
I got you.
Because
No, he would have done it. We've heard him use previous themes in the past, but
yeah, I'm having a hard time finding any connection between, at least at the moment, between Grogu and Kylo Ren or Ben Skywalker, even at this point.
Well, I mean, it was kind of like seeing Vader coming in to see Princess Leia for the first time.
that's
Yeah.
That's the-
stylistically that's more what I got.
That's the feel I got with that shot.
The prison, yeah.
Yeah, it
The
was,
Imperial prison. So
Mhm.
yeah, it was definitely had that kind of feel. I'll give you that. But
Well, the only thing I needed was that big black ball.
yeah, the
If you wrap Grogu's ears up into a
Medical
bun,
droid.
it's perfect.
Yeah, you just need that big black ball to come in with the needle.
torture droid.
the medical probe droid. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dr. Ball.
Dr. Paul. Yeah.
They did snap him, and put, here, go to sleep. Okay.
It's one of my favorite Robot Chicken sketches from Dr. Ball.
Now I did,
Lost the will to live? Where did you get your medical license from?
so I did like the
Wrong
fact
show.
that he was force choking
Oh.
some of these guys, which I had to think about for a second, because I was like, that is kind of a dark side power, but at the same time I've seen regular Jedi use it in limited fashion, which he did do. So
Even
if
Luke did.
Yeah, even Luke did. You're right. Can't really say it's definitely he was on the dark side. I think he's just defending himself at this point. But man, was that cool just to watch.
Yeah.
Again, I kind of geeked out. The other thing I seem to notice about this is, especially when he's talking to him and he notices that he seems to know a lot about Grogu. He knows that when he uses the Force, he gets sleepy. He already knew that ahead of time. And
I think that's from when the doctor was taking the midichlorians from the beginning.
Okay.
That was part of his research.
Okay, that could be. I just
That they recognize that when he does use his power, he falls asleep.
okay. I thought maybe if they'd been together before or something. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe you're right. Maybe he was just part of his intelligence on him because he was ISB and he knows everything about everybody. Maybe, but
Also, was he trying to get Yoda to grab the Darksaber, like the
Not
actual
Yoda.
lightsaber part itself?
yeah, he was.
Grogu.
He was.
Not Yoda.
Yeah, I corrected myself. Sorry.
But yeah, it was almost like he was.
And I'm going to
tempting
call
him.
it Baby fucking Yoda if I want to, Stephanie.
Baby Yoda's
Do
fine,
it.
but
He
not
will, be,
Yoda.
he will always be Baby Yoda to me.
Yes, he will always be Baby Yoda. You're absolutely right, but not Yoda.
Anyway,
It's still
was
Baby
he-
Yoda to me,
yeah.
damn it.
He's still Baby Yoda to me.
But yeah, to your point, Akabar, yeah, I think he was trying to tempt him with it. He was showing it to him, and he was almost gloating it over his face, and he's like, "Here, you want to take it?" It's almost like the
Right, but was he trying to grab the actual lightsaber, or like the actual? You know what I'm saying, like,
no, he
or was
was
he trying to give him the handle?
no, what he was doing is he was showing it to him, and then almost tempting him to try to use the Force, which he did try to do. He did stick out his hand a little bit, but he was out of power. He was done. He was spent.
I don't think it was regarding the dark saber. I think it was just the fact that
It was a lightsaber.
Gideon pulled it out. Well, Gideon pulled it out and said, "That sounded wrong." Gideon
I should have never shown you Gravity Falls.
Yeah, let's not go
Gideon
there.
clicked on the saber or whatever, and he basically asked Baby Yoda if
Grogu.
if he's ever seen one before.
Yeah, like I said, I think he was gloating over the fact because he knew that he was almost holding it, almost giving it to him. It was like just out of his grasp, and he knew he didn't have the power to take it from him and use
Right.
it. So it was just like
Right.
his way of torturing him.
Can I bring up something though?
Yeah, what?
How amazing of an actor is Giancarlo Esposito that he can basically like shit talk a tiny Muppet and still seem threatening. I don't think we've ever seen that from an actor before.
It does. I'm sure it takes a
Hold the
certain.
stick with a light on it.
I'm sure it takes a certain. I don't know. He definitely personifies the Empire. I don't know if he's a Star Wars fan or not, but there seems to be he understands the part at least. I'll give him that because he played.
Telling you got to see Breaking Bad.
Yeah,
Yes.
I haven't gotten that far yet, but I will. I'll get there. Brian, what do you think about you buy that that he's gloating and it's just a torture, or do you think there was something else? Or do you think there was something?
Well, that's why it was hard. It was hard to because he also said he goes, wouldn't want you touching one of these. Somebody's liable to lose a hand.
Yeah.
So I couldn't tell if he knew that Baby Yoda knows how to use it because he was at the temple.
Yeah.
Or it was one of those things where Baby Yoda's been at the temple and knows what they are,
Right.
and just wanted it. You know what I mean? Like I couldn't tell which one it was.
I think I think it's the latter. He knows what they are.
Yeah.
And
Well,
he even said you're too young to be playing. You're too young to be playing with it, and turned it off. But
Didn't
I guess
he
so.
see Ahsoka's Jedi?
Her little short sabers.
Her sabers? Didn't he see those?
well, sure. And he, like I said, he knows what they are, and I'm sure he knows what they
Right.
are from the temple, even because every Jedi has one back then.
And that's why I was curious if he's used them before, or because when he was reaching out, I couldn't tell if he was using the Force or if he was actually going to try to grab the handle. You know what I mean? Like not grab the handle, but grab the actual lightsaber part.
Try to get him to
I
cut
think
off
he
his
was
own
trying
hand
to
or
probably
something.
use the Force to pull it to him,
Yeah,
but he had nothing left. So
yeah, he knew he had nothing left, and he's just using it to torture him. He's like, hey, see, look what I got. See, yeah, look, see, yeah, you want it? I don't think so. Yeah, and it's just part of his being a dick, bad guy personality, or being menacing. Really, it's all part of his. He's torturing his prey per se.
I'm curious though. Have we seen him actually like we've seen him use a lightsaber. Has he actually used the Force at all? I mean, Gideon.
No, not yet.
So I wonder if he's that would actually go into my theory, because when Ahsoka said that Baby Yoda would touch the stone and would the person who would train him or unlock his abilities would answer, that's why I was thinking it was Gideon in some way. So we could be getting in a sense of
master and apprentice.
right, where essentially it's going to come to a battle over how good Grogu's nature is going to be.
If that was the case, then I don't understand why he's not donating his own blood to his project or whatever.
Again, that's why I ask if he's actually used any Jedi abilities.
Yeah.
maybe he wants the project to have little green men.
And have we really seen it? We haven't seen him use the lightsaber, have we?
The TIE fighter.
Yeah, the TIE fighter.
But that was just using it as a knife. Wasn't actually using.
He
Wielding jaws.
hasn't
He
wielded
used it as a can opener.
otherwise.
We're
This is
good.
his jaws of life.
Yeah. There's been no sparring with it or anything. So,
Yeah.
yeah. All right, guys. Well, that brings us to the end of the review. So let's go right into final thoughts and grades. And Brian, I know you're dying, so this was your episode.
Well, I'm not really.
So go for
I'm
it.
not really dying, but yes, I'm going to go ahead and give it an A plus.
Yeah.
Plus.
A plus. Okay.
Like I said, this was the my Rogue One of the just showing the kind of character that Boba Fett was in a lot of our minds when we played with the toys, and just watching that, as Steph put it, badassery. watching that take place on screen, on the like I told you, I watched it 3 or 4 times this morning.
Yeah.
I haven't done that with any of the episodes yet. Watched it numerous times in a row,
Right.
and I actually did that this morning.
Gotcha.
That was my level of hype for this episode. Like we had talked about it, we didn't know who was going to come, and not once last week did we say Boba Fett was going to be the one to come, and that was going to be basically the whole episode.
Right.
And here he showed up. I was like, yes. And then to hear him say he's going to be more than one episode. Yes.
Even better.
Yeah. So that was my that would be my thoughts and grades. But like I said, the Dark Trooper or Shadow Trooper or whatever.
Yeah.
If they could just like reach in through the Force to get Yoda, that would have made him a little more better. But
yeah.
That'll be my one nitpick of the episode. Would be those guys.
Okay.
Yeah, I wasn't a fan of the giant blue light.
That's another.
I'll go
nitpick.
ahead and I'm going to give it a solid A. I was a little let down with Tython. But that was probably my own fault for building it up in my mind and doing all that research on it. But a little
Never
let down
speculate.
there, let down on the Dark Trooper thing again. Did my research, expecting a little bit more again. So maybe it's me. So it takes it down from an A+ to an A. But everything else was solid. Seeing a badass Boba Fett without his armor, and then seeing a badass Boba Fett with his armor, and then getting to see the Seeing Stone in action. All those things I thought were great, were awesome. Slave One in action, seeing them flying again, and seeing how setting up even at the end, setting up a little Cara Dune conflict with her new role, and how she going to handle breaking somebody out of prison when she's New Republic Marshal, a newly minted one nonetheless. So all those things, makes it it was a really good episode. Not as good as last week in my opinion, but right there, right there behind it. So solid A for me. John, Steph?
You want to go first? Or?
Yeah, I'm probably gonna give it a B.
Okay.
Just because I didn't, like you said, I didn't like the what was it?
The blue beam.
Well, I didn't like the blue beam.
The dark troopers.
No, what was the name of the city? Or the
planet.
Tython.
What planet are we on again?
Tython.
Tython. Yeah, I was
23-inch
expecting.
Tythons?
I was expecting a lot more from that,
Yeah, me too.
and all they gave us was these little Stonehenge with a little ball in the center.
So-
I kind of expected a little bit more.
Yeah, going from a really beautifully designed set from last episode.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, I didn't like the blue beam. I didn't like the extended come on, I'm gonna save you, and then every time he went to go get Grogu, he got pushed back out. I was like, okay, this is just annoying. I loved Boba Fett. I loved seeing him kick ass again. That was so cool. I loved, not love, but the whole putting on the armor, and it would just, yeah, I was a kid again too. But I was mad when the Razor Crest got blown to smithereens.
Yeah, it's tough.
That was not fun for me. I was like, what? But yeah, the Dark Soldiers, whatever they're called,
Troopers.
it literally looked like Iron Man again, and I'm just like, dude, we've seen this. What? And yeah, it was like, what was it? The shoot in Lord of the Rings, the Wraith.
The ring race?
No, well, the Wraith coming and encircling Frodo the group.
the
on
the
the
ring race.
Yeah, the ring race.
Weathertop.
Yeah.
That felt
no.
more threatening
Yeah, that was way more threatening than
Dark Troopers.
today. So definitely a B for me.
Okay, Johnny?
Yeah, I'm there about B+. While there were good moments, like y'all were saying, it was fun to watch Boba Fett. It was fun to watch him get his
Badassery.
validation of, earning every bit of the fan, the rabid fan base that he had since Empire. That much was fun, but the pacing felt weird. The action, though, was nice. It didn't seem to progress too much, because like you were saying, like, we see 3 different instances in which Mando does the exact same thing 3 times, thinking, how is this going to be any different than the last time? And I think just the shortness of it, and
Yeah, the
letdown of the Dark Troopers, it was just kind of a mixed bag. And this was Robert Rodriguez's first directing job for Mandalorian. I kind of want to wonder, like, how big of a Star Wars fan he is. In a way, I'm sure to some degree he is, but
I think maybe he was a big Boba Fett fan.
probably I don't know, like, how well that translated, because you could tell Favreau, he knew how to take the inspiration for Star Wars by being inspired not by Star Wars, but by what inspired Star Wars, like we heard. And I didn't get that impression here in this episode.
Okay. All right. We're getting a little bit of feedback there, John. Sorry, it was getting real garbled. Hopefully we got all that. At least in my earpiece, anyway. So let's.
I didn't touch anything, I swear.
Copy. All right, so let's move on to social media real quick. The best place to go if you like this, you want to find us more, the best place to go is www.the4midwestguys.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/the4midwestguys. Same for Twitter at the4midwestguys. Brian, where can they find you, sir? And do you want to say anything about your new channel?
Yeah, they can find me on at AnkZone over on Twitter, on Instagram at _the_real Ank.
Okay.
And you can find my new channel, Gone Thrifting 859. It's a YouTube channel only so far. No Facebook yet or anything like that. But I just posted my newest video today of the unboxing of a box of Pokemon cards. Trying to pull a 300 card. Do I pull it or not?
Ooh.
So check it out. I put a link up on Facebook, but there's also links up on YouTube and stuff. So check it out.
Copy that. Thrifting 859, right? Or Gone Thrifting 859.
Gone
right?
thrifting, kind of like gone fishing.
Gone fishing, gone thrifting. All right, there we go. You can find me on Twitter and Stardust at bwilly1977. If you like the behind the scenes kind of stuff, that's our Instagram, and that's the _4midwest_guys. You drop us an email at 4midwestguys@gmail.com. And our newest thing is the fan voicemail line, which is 1-859-363-5952. And hopefully, Johnny, we can get your mic working for this. I know you might want to try movie masochism. Hopefully we're not going to get the feedback. Let's find out.
All right, well, I can just basically start talking to see if that's any better
Oh,
now.
much
Or...
better.
Much better.
Again, I swear I didn't touch anything.
I know. It's just internet problem.
Kind of sound like a fly landed on your mic.
Oh, lovely. That's wonderful. No, I mean, again, if we got anybody that wants to send any movies to torture me with, I'd be happy to sit through and review them like I've done in my previous episodes. I'm going to try to get that show back up and running again. I'm currently trying to think of a few episodes just to kind of kick things off between 1978 and 1982. Just kind of see if the movies that were really the black sheep of the bunch are as bad today as they were back then.
Copy that.
Now, John, I know you said you had a list of 120.
About 120, yeah.
Okay, I'm gonna suggest you do number 78.
78. Okay.
Like I don't know what the number, like what you have listed there, but you said you have an Excel sheet. So number 78, I'm going to suggest that you do that one, so we get the ball rolling on these. I can't wait to see.
Typing down 78 right now.
We got it.
I can't wait to see them. Yep.
Movie masochism. Wheel of mystery. Turn.
I completely forgot one more point I wanted to make about the episode.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead.
Go ahead.
The title I thought was nothing but clickbait.
What,
yes.
The tragedy? Oh.
Like
yes.
I think tragedy. I think someone that we know and care about in the episode's gonna die, and I don't care that it's the spacecraft. I'm sorry.
Yep.
Like I expected a
he's,
character.
he's like, I expected a character to die. I'm like,
with a
I did
title
too.
like that.
Honestly,
Yeah,
honestly, I did too. It was either that, or Boba, or not Boba Fett, or Mando was going to give the child to like the Sith, and that was going to be the tragedy that he would have to go try to redeem.
And,
But yeah, I was like, oh, really? That was the tragedy.
right. I was like, that's a tragedy. I'm sorry. No, that's not a tragedy. They should have just called it "The Stakes Got Raised" of the script.
Or yeah, they just call it like episode 14. The badass is back.
The badass
Yeah.
is back.
The
Boba,
badassery.
tribute to Boba.
badass-
Tribute.
Yeah,
Not tragedy.
badassery.
Tribute.
the badassery continues.
Chapter 14. Boba Fett tribute.
Yeah.
All right, guys. Well, it's been fun as always. And Mr. Brian Agbauer, thank you for joining us, sir.
Hey, thanks for having me, man.
Absolutely. And John, Steph, welcome back, Steph. Thanks again, guys. Appreciate it as
you.
always. Thank you.
Bye.
And I have been your host, B. Willie. And as always, may the force be with you.